Welcome everyone. My name is Vandana, and I am the founder and creator of Vandana Light Healing and Galactic Light Healing. This is my new show. It's called the New Earth Ascension Show. And I'm really happy to be here to play with you and to introduce you to so many amazing and gifted, vibrant, important energy healers, timeline transformers, paradigm shifters, heart awakeners, and divine channels who are here with a very important message for humanity, for all of us. So today I'd like to start out by saying welcome, and please relax and just find a comfortable spot to really let go of, the whole pandemic timeline, the uncertainty of what is going to happen in the future, and just allow and give yourself full permission to relax, to rest and digest this pause and reset timeline that we're in, and to really view this from a higher, broader quantum perspective, to see everything just playing out exactly as it's meant to for your highest and greatest good, and allow yourself to just slip into that beautiful gap, that space between your thoughts, that space and place of total trust and faith that you were meant to be here, that you volunteered to be here, and that there is a greater plan behind this, and that we will reveal the concealed information that's meant for us to be known and shown to us in divine time and order. And we recognize this as the highest truth. So be it, so it is. So please allow yourself to just put away your to-do list and the busyness of your beta brain, and allow yourself to just slow down and ease into a state of grace, a state of theta awareness, or even going deeper into the delta or the gamma frequencies, really into that restorative space of grace. So today, while you're just kind of letting go and unwinding and just kind of unpacking, all of the density and the intensity and the collective anxiety that's happening all around us, I'd like to introduce you to my beautiful star sister. Waxela Sananda is a Quantum Embodiment Coach. Very, very special soul sister, Galactic Shaman, and an Ascension Trainer. We all need those people in our lives to really bless us and support us, to really engage with us and remind us of why we're here, and what is the greater meaning behind this unfoldment. And so through the process of all of her intentional healing work, she's actually written an international best-selling book called The Love You Crave, right? I love that title. It's a course in ascension, alchemy, and connection to the divine. Wa-shay-la guides her clients on a transformational journey of really deeply clearing out, but gently clearing out limiting beliefs, and transforming stuck stagnant energy into 5D creative possibility, and dynamically, right? Creatively, dynamically, and I'll add the word interdimensionally. She combines her celestial starseed lineage consciousness and shamanic training that she holds this really beautiful feminine frequency of sisterhood, but also she holds this really open heart space for clients to experience the embodiment of these divine frequencies that are coming in more and more, faster and faster, at accelerated speed onto the new planet Earth, the new and improved rebirthing of this Earth that we all are living upon. So wa-shay-la lives in Sarasota, Florida, which is beautiful, and she travels the world speaking and offering these really meaningful workshops, events, and retreats, healing retreats. So thank you so much for being here on the New Earth One Network and the New Earth Ascension Show.
Thank you, Vandana, for that introduction and just for the invitation to be here and play with you and your wonderful viewers. And I'm just excited to get into whatever we're going to get into and share today. But I can tell you, as you're speaking, I'm already feeling the energy and the tingling and the like, ooh, something's going on.
The whooshing lights. So we should explain that to whoever is tuning in right now on maybe the live platform, the live call on the New Earth One Network or the replays, is that I actually was a guest on Waxela's show, her telesummit show. So maybe we want to talk about that a little bit too. And that's how we first met. And she invited me to be on her show as a presenter, speaker, teacher, healer, whatever title you want to throw out there, because we wear so many hats as multidimensional, miraculous beings. And I had like just such an amazing experience being on your show. So I just wanted to share that while I was channeling in and facilitating a divine healing intervention transmission, wa-shay-la mentioned to me that she was just like probably way above the veils of seventh heaven and beyond. And she was just like, we were all like flying and floating and levitating. And then later, wa-shay-la mentioned to me, you know, I actually heard, I think it was actually on while we were still on the call after we were grounding after the transmission, you mentioned that you heard these sounds, these really unusual sounds. They were sort of like whooshing lights. That's how you phrased it. But I don't want to interpret what you heard or what you experienced. So I just thought that that was amazing because I also, you know, was experiencing something really phenomenal with you as we were both co-creating this field of this field and frequency of galactic intelligence, and we were connecting and communicating with our galactic brothers and sisters in the stars. So yeah, so that's really beautiful. I feel like that's happening right now again. So I'm really grateful
totally
to
is.
you.
It totally, even while you were talking, I heard these little whoosh, whoosh. It's a frequency. Yeah.
I love it. So I'm so happy that you agreed to be in the flow with me. And I think that I trust that that is the magic. That's part of this magical timeline that we're in, is like relearning or re-remembering, re-educating ourselves in this mystery school of life, you know, how to actually feel, how do we readjust our frequency, how to recalibrate into the field, into the frequent flow, the flow field, the frequency of flow of, you know, just allowance, acceptance, and how we can then only then really reestablish our galactic ancestral hearts and homes, and really reconnect with our star tribes and our soul families on our birth star. And when we get in our own way and when we think with the mind instead of feel with the heart, then it doesn't actually take us directly there to the place where all the treasures can be found and accessed. So today we're going to travel there and here and everywhere and really reconnect to our galactic heritage, lineage, where it all began, where all of our gifts are stored, our galactic records and our inner earth records, right? And we can rewrite, you know, those difficult timelines that we may still be carrying unconsciously or subconsciously from our earth ancestors. And the way we do this is we travel through our heart's open door, through our lotus, chrysid, diamond flowers. And this is where the Dharma is. And this is where the wisdom lies in our intuitive guidance system, in our etheric heart space. And this is what it means to allow yourself to reclaim your robes of might and majesty, your ascension mastery. This is the ascended mindset. And I know that you help your clients to fall in love again, right? To follow your client's natural inclinations about what feels is sort of missing, what people are craving, you know, those energetic urges that are not addressed maybe growing up, you know, the heart urges, the desires, the dreams that we somehow misplace or leave behind. So I'd love to know, you know, in your work with clients as a quantum embodiment coach, why don't we just start there? Because I know that you're just not one thing, that you embody all of these different soul identities, right? A galactic shamanista, an ascension trainer, and a quantum embodiment coach. Can you tell me how you combine all of these beautiful gifts and traits when you work with people? What does that energy look and feel like, if you could define it?
Yeah, I'd love to speak into that. And, you know, it's multidimensional. So I'll speak and see, you know, where it leads. So it is, you know, and you're talking about the diamond light of the heart, the infinitely faceted diamond light of the heart is a portal. It's a doorway. It's a gateway into the body, into the multidimensional human being. And so my work really invites people first to release the basically like the cages, the restraints, the bonds that we've enclosed ourselves in our humanity and the human experience, the traumas, the upsets, the grudges, the unforgiveness. And we take those and start to excavate them. And in this excavation, I call it excavating the dark seed of the heart. It's like pulling roots, and we're getting closer and closer to that diamond light. And we find, you know, when we find the center of that, everybody has a core issue. I believe that everybody's core issue begins at separation from source. And when we come into the body, we feel rejected by the divine because we've come from oneness, and now we know separation, and it's a quality that we must have to have duality, to have these bodies and to have this experience. So we work on reframing and reprogramming the experience of rejection, that core seed, however it feels and looks for each individual's a little different, but for me it's very much about rejection. And we work on transforming that into wholeness and really embracing being in the body, that this is a temporary experience that we get to have. It's a privilege to have one of these. The body is akin to, it is a multidimensional interface, a tool. And when we embody this vehicle, we get to have mystical experiences. When we let go of those layers of like hardness that we've accumulated over life, we get to get in here, embody it, embrace being alive, and then use it co-creatively to create a life we love. And that is a journey into the heart, a journey into wholeness. And so I invite people to come into I call it the infinitely faceted, multidimensional diamond light of the heart, and take a journey within, because the heart portal, the etheric heart, is a hologram of the whole. A hologram contains the whole within it, and it is a piece of the divine. So when we're able to go within to journey into our wholeness, we can experience anything and everything that you can possibly imagine. And it's really not, I mean, I'm not going to say it's an easy process, but anybody could do the process if you apply yourself. It takes some grit, it takes tenacity, it takes curiosity, it takes commitment. And then, you know, you get to experience life newly and differently, and from a place of being whole rather than being separate. And that is really the massive shift that I desire for anybody that works with me to get to that. You know, that doesn't mean you'll never have a day where you feel lonely or separate, because we're human and we're going to have human experiences, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you get to experience wholeness, and then you keep practicing tapping back in. You have the tools then to get back to that experience of bliss, divine rapture, and wholeness. Touch in there and let that fuel you as you go forward into your life, and have the entire range of emotional experience and life experience and human experience like everyone else, you know. But then we know how to get back to that and practice and play in the world of interdimensional oneness. And that's where the goodies are.
Yes, interdimensional oneness. I love it. So, oh my goodness, so many things that you were just discussing. Everything resonates deep within my core. Two things stuck out for me in your beautiful and articulate presentation just now, or explanation of separation versus oneness. For sure, that is, I mean, that's truth. That's total truth for me. Mystical experiences, that stuck out for me. So I'm going to put that over here for a minute. And the other thing that stuck out for me, what you just said, what you just shared and channeled in, is about what I heard is about the essence of being in love with life, being in love with our own inner twin flame, our inner lover, the other side of, you know, this mystery, this duality, where we seek an outside approval from others, and then we somehow fall back, or, you know, like a fallen angel, right? We somehow crash down really hard, crash and burn, so to speak, when we aren't seen or heard or recognized or validated, and where we somehow fall into the illusion and confusion that we are anything less than love, that we are unlovable or undesirable. And so one thing about the mystical, maybe let's start there. Let me ask you, can you share a little bit about what led you to this wisdom, the wisdom teachings that you exude? I mean, have you, and I know the answer, but I'd like you to share, if you can, about your own mystical experiences, and, you know, what led you to the place you are, that you embody today on the planet.
Yeah, I'd love to share about that, my backstory.
The back end, yeah.
So, I mean, going way back, I was born and raised in a small town in Iowa, in the Midwest, Lutheran family, you know, in the Bible Belt. And I started having visitations from interdimensional beings at the very, very young age. My earliest memory of that, I was somewhere between 3 and 4 years old, and probably 3, you know, just very young enough. But yet I was, you know, conscious. I was aware afterward. It was a very profound experience, that one. And I was aware and left also with the program, or the understanding, don't tell the adults, they won't understand. And so that was with me my whole life. Don't tell the adults, they won't understand. And I had all of these experiences that I never spoke of. Being where I was, nobody else was speaking like this. And, you know, I was not going to tell the adults. So I was very much on my own inner journey from the very beginning when it comes to that. But that gave me permission to really explore. And so I loved going into nature. I always say the frogs taught me to meditate. There was a wonderful little, I called it the swamp, but it was a little marshy area near my home. And I would go there as a child and I would tune my awareness into, I wanted to see and catch the frogs. I would tune into them. And I was actually learning to, remembering to meditate and tune into a different dimension of reality. Because what would happen when I spent enough time in total stillness and focused attention on where might the frogs be, you know, they're below the ankle level. And I would just sit very, very still and control my breathing and become invisible to them.
Wow.
And then I would see them and the whole world would open up, the tiny world below my feet. And so I would practice that every day of the summer. I would go to the little marsh and I would sit and I would tune in and watch, and then I would get to view their world without them seeing me. Whereas anyone who's walked along the edge of the water where there are frogs knows the frogs jump in the water and you never even see them most of the time. You're just walking along. So that really was my beginning experience of, oh, this is how we tune into other realities. And that was the fairyland, you know. And so I would go there, loved. There were weeping willows they were the gatekeepers. And it was really like entering a little fairyland every day.
I love it. I'm really feeling like I'm right there with you. Yeah. I want to call it Love Land because it feels like that.
Yes. Wow. And when I had a heartbreak or when I was upset about something, I would sit under one of those weeping willow trees and the willows would touch the ground and I would have my back up to it and they would just be with me, you know, and that was so my realm, you know, so at home there. Didn't matter what anybody else thought or, you know, it was just, that was my place. So that was the beginning. And then as I went on, I really got activated more consciously. I was a foreign exchange student in Mérida in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. And I was going to the Mayan ruins that whole year. And every time I would go see Mayan ruins, my whole body would do this, like I'd vibrate and and I knew something was happening. I was just a teenager. I didn't know what was happening, but I knew something was going on. And so that year I had a huge expansion and I became aware of, oh, there's a whole world of people talking about this stuff. I started going to metaphysical bookstores when I traveled. There weren't any in my town, but I found the information. It was before the internet, you know, it was a while ago, 30 years ago. So there was no like getting online and getting the information we have at our fingertips now. And so you know, what I realized is I was already intuitive. I was already receiving from my star family. I didn't have an understanding of it so clearly until that year was when my star family really I started understanding where the information was coming from, how I was receiving it. And then we started working together consciously. And so I could say for 30 years, I've been doing this now on this path. It's morphed and changed. But so I was one of the fortunate people that had a long, slow awakening experience, I guess you could say. Whereas I know people now are just popping open. The energy is so powerful and that's, you know, the right thing for them. I had that integration time and I was found by, so I will just say it like this. I talk about this in my book. So when I worked with a shaman for 3 years, he came and found me. And what happened was my twin flame, who's not in a body here, came into a body, grabbed that body, came and got me and took me on a 3-year journey, which we spent in Hawaii. And he trained me. And he trained me, that's where my galactic shamanism comes from. In a physical way, he came straight in and of the lineage of Sananda, so that's why my last name is Sananda. And he showed me how to open portals and how to cross, deceased people through, and how to work interdimensionally, and it was 3 years of mystical experiences, pretty
amazing.
Constantly. We had starships always escorting us. I mean, I didn't even, there were so many things I didn't know, obviously at that point I was opened up to so many things. We would have starships literally fly right in, or light ships fly right in. We lived in an organic, there was an organic farm in a valley, and we lived on top of it in Hawaii. And these ships would just fly right in next to our house, and we'd see them all the time. I mean, it was undeniable. We weren't the only ones seeing them either. It wasn't just us. So it
Right.
was, wow. Yeah. I mean, it was just powerful transmissions. And that's when I learned to meditate. I mean, besides from the frogs, really learned to meditate with the energies, and channel them in, and align and attune and activate others, and, and open up my intuitive abilities. So I had a powerful 3 years of constantly getting this training. And then the contract between my twin and the owner of the body, the original owner, was up, and there was a switch. I didn't understand at that time that about walk-ins, or that it happened that way. I didn't understand at all. And it was years later when I asked my guidance, what happened? Why? Because I was heartbroken when he left, was left with somebody. It wasn't immediate, but it was, pretty quick switch. And then we weren't compatible, and I didn't understand. And so I asked my guides, show me what happened. And they're like, well, here it is, from our perspective. And there was an exchange. And so what I know now is that my twin flame, who doesn't have a body of his own, he will pop in. I like lovingly call him the body snatcher. Because he pops in and spends time with me in other people's bodies. And I've seen him in the eyes of, he showed me 10 different people that I'd been in relationships with through my life, that he's come through, sometimes just for a moment, sometimes for 3 years, sometimes for a week, depending on the arrangement, the agreement. But now I understand, our guides and our twin flames are amazing. I mean, they find ways to communicate all the time if we're open to receiving it. So that's just the dynamic that we ended up with. He actually tried to incarnate, and his energy was such that he was not able to be carried to term by a number of women that tried. So
wow. And this is rare, but I feel just a little speechless right now, because everything that you're sharing, I just want to thank you. I'm so grateful to you, is pretty miraculous. It's not like your everyday conversation. And I feel like this quantum conversation is so important for people to connect to, because a lot of people feel like you do, and like I do, kind of different, kind of like plopped onto this planet, maybe accidentally, or not really sure what's going on, or why we're here. And we do, because we're maybe sort of viewed or perceived as very different, because we're star seeds, from people, earth seeds, people who didn't really have that many, or at all, any star lives. This is important so that people feel more, people can understand like what their star seed identity really is, and that you guys are not alone. Like, there's no shame, there's no stigma in having these types of experiences. Actually, they're the new normal, if you want to look at it like that. So I'm really grateful that you shared all about this, the twin flames, and the shamanic part of your work, when you talk about soul embodiment and the true soul identity and the body snatcher concept, but in a different way than we're told about. because when I think of body snatcher, I think the way we're told about in 3D reality is something kind of creepy and scary. Like, oh my God, can somebody actually take my body and use it when I'm sleeping? Or I wonder if you can share a little bit more about how you work with people shamanically, but in a more interdimensional methodology. If you could do methodology, sorry, if you could talk about that, that would be, I feel like, really helpful for people. So people don't feel like, well, that's like shamanism is, you know, maybe messing with like the way it's supposed to be, or going against natural laws or something like that. Like for people who have a more religious background, or for people who might just be a little bit afraid of, you know, what is shamanism. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah, and that was a multi-layered question. So I'm gonna do the same thing, like just kind of work my way around it.
Your way in.
Yeah. So, okay, first of all, I want to say about shamanism. Shamanism is the most natural thing that there is. Shamanism is connection to the earth, connection to the elements. Galactic shamanism is, you know, connection to our star heritage. But it's, you know, shaman is a medicine person. And so when I say I call myself a galactic shaman, that means I'm bringing the medicine of the galactic origins, of the galactic heritage to people, and making that available to people through their own sovereign channels. So it's not about me, it's about, you know, the individual's connection. So I do want to say, you know, about shamanism though, even though it does kind of have this stigma, it's just the natural way of being. It is, it's seeing that there is sacredness in all things. It's knowing that everything has energy and everything is energy, and we're all one at the highest source. We are all connected to the divine, and it's knowing that that divine is all of this. And that we, you know, and a layer of that is that because of that, we created all of this, and we are creating our reality in every moment. So it's very much about consciousness and awareness of this is a reality that is an interface where we get to experience being physical, which is not what we experience in the non-physical, obviously, in the higher realms that don't have physicality. And so shamanism to me is a way of bringing those two things together, because we go through life and we're not trained as children that we are spirits in bodies, that this is a tool that we get to use. We're trained that this is me, but this is actually, this physical structure is not me. I have consciousness in this structure, but it's not me, you know, I'm all, you know, I'm so much bigger and so much more. And that's true for every single one of us. We are the divine. So I think, I just kind of want to put that out there. That's not even woo-woo. That's just even
nature. It's
religion.
Nature. Yeah.
Every religion has their teaching of that. You know, it's a little different for
Yes.
each one, but that is, you know, really the essence of shamanism, is that everything's connected. Everything comes from one source, and it's an invitation to be connected. And in my experience and what I teach is that you can only be connected in this life, in this physicality, if you embody this vehicle and work through it. Now, it is possible, you know, a lot of spiritual people, they meditate, they connect, they go out. And that's something I did when I was younger, especially in my early years of learning, you know, my teens and my 20s. Before I learned to really embody my vehicle, I wanted out, or I was here, I had presence, but I longed, I craved for, oh, I want to be one with the divine again, as if I wasn't. And that's what we think, because it's as we feel as starseeds, oftentimes we were just dropped off here and like, see you later, you're on your own, figure it out, like mama dropping the child off at daycare and we're like, what do we do? I don't want to be here. I don't know these people. This is too dense for me.
That's
right?
a good analogy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, come mama, come back. So, so part of the training is like, that's not true. That whole idea, we are here, we have these bodies, and we have our connection. We have access to the galactic heritage at all times, but we have to inhabit the vehicle, which is what we don't want to do, right? Being starseeds, because it's scary. It's like, it feels too much, and it's like, empaths, and it's just kind of scary to be in this place, not knowing what to do with pain and emotion and physicality and all of that. Most of us come from much higher dimensions, and it's weird. It's, so we have to learn to be in it. And part of that is changing your relationship with physicality. Mentally, when there is pain, when there's emotional pain or physical pain, our natural reactions is, I want out. I don't want to feel that. Give me something, give me whatever, something to numb. I'm going to go meditate and get away from it. But in embodiment, instead of checking out, we tune in and we ask, oh, I'm feeling heart pain. And we go into the heart and say, what's going on here? Why pain? And how can I help? What do I need to do in this situation? Sometimes it's just feel it. Just accept it, just allow it, just be with it. And when we change that relationship from, I have to fix it, I have to, get away or cover it up, to, how can I be with this? What do I need to see here? Because the body is a feedback system, and it is so powerful. And when it's telling us something, it wants to get our attention, and it tells us, it speaks with physicality, with emotions, and with pain sometimes. And when we ignore it, that pain gets stronger, both emotionally and physically. So part of the process is to tune in and ask. And I have a little story to exemplify this, if I may. It's in my book as well, but when you feel something. So when I started really practicing embodiment and listening to my body, I would scan, just with my intention, my consciousness, scan my body and ask, is there anything that needs attention here? And I was drawn to pain in my left ovary. I just intuitively knew that's what it was, my left ovary. And I could feel it, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's pain here. What is this? And it just started to speak to me visually. So I'm very clairvoyant. It's not better or worse to be one way or another. I see lots of pictures, but I started to see pictures of when I was 16 years old, I was date raped. And I saw images of that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've stored that in my ovary. And now I've done plenty of work. I've forgiven. I have I thought I was done with that, right? Done. I'm over it. Not hanging on to that. But what I didn't know is my consciousness, my awareness had done that work and gotten over it, but my body had not gotten over it. There's a part of my body that was still upset and holding on to an energy from that. And so I just tuned in, and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, I see that that's there. Yeah, that was a very disappointing thing. That was painful. It was emotionally very disturbing. It impacted my relationships. I just noticed, non-judgment, non-victimized, just noticed, oh yeah, I can see that I have stored that there. And I asked my body, is it time? Are we ready to let this go? And it took some coaxing. Actually, it took 3 nights. And finally, my body was ready to let it go. And then on the 3rd night, it left. So I'm just going to keep talking because I see it's still recording. So it left and I could feel the release. I saw you left and I kept talking. Hopefully that's okay. I could, I could feel the release of that. And I could feel that I now had freed that energy from my body. It was gone. And so I did write the process out in my book, and I teach this in Ascension training, because even if mentally and emotionally we've dealt with something, our body can grasp onto a piece of it and store it. And I believe that that's where disease comes from. I'm not going to say all disease, but I certainly saw in this experience that if I hadn't done that work, there was potential for that to turn into disease, possibly ovarian cancer or something like that. And I'm grateful that I saw it and I caught it and I was able to release it. And I feel like I had that experience so I could help other people do the same for themselves.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so important too, for people to reclaim their health, their body sovereignty, and to really tune in and to be the masters of our own divine embodiment. And so to really pay attention, to really be still, to really drop in, to check in instead of checking out, right? We want to check in. And I thank you so much for talking about your book and how you have written about these processes, these somatic body processes that help people to recognize, to excavate, to uncover, you know, what's long been hidden, buried, and concealed, so that could be revealed, released, and transmuted into that poison into medicine, or those polluted thoughts or belief system into peaceful, loving, and kind thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions, all of that, to not wait until it's kind of too late, you know, and to call upon the galactic doctors, the Christed surgeons, the spirit shamans that I also work with, and to ask for the divine medicine to be dispensed in that inner pharmacy, that cosmic pharmacy, which is above us, below us, underground, but also within us. And so because we all have the medicine, the awareness, the insights, the wisdom inside, we're all our own inner doctors and guides. So like we're our own body, spirit guide and guardian, caretaker. So that's so important that you actually went all the way and wrote a book to empower people to just become their own masters, you know, because really the 3D medical care system, the healthcare system, we won't talk about that so much, but we know that it's limited, it's limiting, and that it's allopathic in nature, so it'll only kind of give us like a temporary band-aid, you know, or a pill to swallow, but it won't actually get to the heart, the root, and the core of the matter, of where that original trauma, that wound began. So that's amazing. I wanted to ask you if you feel guided to share any messages about this pandemic timeline, this ascension or pre-ascension, or all of these really like dense and difficult energetic debris, this residue that's still in the process of being purged and clearing out of our systems to process, to better integrate, you know, all of the old systems that are still here and haven't all collapsed at the same time. But how can we create more resiliency in our mind body systems, in our light ascension vehicles? What would you suggest? Is there a process that you may feel guided to walk people through, or just a message that might be coming through right now from Spirit?
Well, the first thing that I hear as you're speaking is sovereignty. And I am I don't even know how to. I'm very much being told right now that this is a time for each individual to claim their sovereignty, and are certainly teachers. Absolutely. Listen to the teachers that you resonate with, but do not replace your sovereignty with, don't let the teacher tell you what to do. You know, choose for yourself, claim your sovereignty. You know, you do not have to be, sort of like a victim of what's going on in the world. And mindset is so important here. So to attune your awareness to something higher, because it's all layered. So from the lowest dimension and the lowest thinking, you know, mindset of thought to the highest, it's all right here and it's all available to you. It's as if I'm seeing hands, like being handed this this smorgasbord to choose whatever you want to experience, and then you get to choose. And it's not to judge. If you want to have an experience of being victimized or being you know, some lower experience of life, that's okay. I had the experience of being raped. You know, I chose that experience for some reason, but now I get to be free of that, liberated of that. And here's the important thing: you do get to choose, and it's important never to judge yourself for the choices that you've made or that you will make, but that any choice that you make can lead you to liberation, can lead you to freedom. In the transformation, that is where the alchemy is. Because when you take something like some evil deed that you think has been done to you in the past, and realize it's all you doing it to you, because we're all the same being, so we chose that. When you take that and choose to liberate yourself from it and choose to have freedom from it, the heart expands and you become free. And there is just this infinite ability to alchemize victimization and negativity into freedom. And that's what this time is about. The feelings of suppression and victimization are maybe higher than ever right now, globally and on our planet. People are feeling it, from the quarantine to racial inequality to, you know, just you name it. It's up right now for people, right? Yes. But to be able to harness that and take it and transform it into something powerfully positive, that's taking back your sovereignty and releasing yourself from any contracts or bondage that from your past, and choosing for yourself. Don't be led, be the leader of your own life. That's what this time is about. Taking the lead, embodying yourself, being fully present, saying, yes, I'm here for a reason, and I get to have this experience. I get to choose this new earth, this higher, this ascended timeline, but I will do the work to get there, because you don't just get tossed in like, you know, with fairy dust, poof, there you are. You have to do the work, and it takes tenacity. And so now's the time to have grit and stamina and tenacity and to walk through the fire. And it's worth it, because on the other side is your freedom, your liberation, the new earth, the ascended consciousness, your galactic heritage is leading you there. So tune into that.
Yay! I just feel so elevated and inspired right now. I want to share something else that you have so graciously offered to all the viewers and listeners, which is this bonus thank you gift for tuning in today. And if it's okay with you, Waxela, I'm going to just read it. This free gift is about clearing the lack matrix, activating self-worth, and this is a wealth masterclass. So many light workers, starseeds, empaths, and energy sensitive souls, very gifted, benevolent, kind beings, are really struggling with, you know, with the vow or the contract, the ancestral agreements that was maybe passed down in our bloodline, in our lineage on Earth, on the old Earth, from the old Earth. You know, really about sort of vows of poverty, scarcity, lack, and limitation. And we can get through that by just being ourselves, right? And the key to living, to thriving instead of surviving is authenticity, is just being, is just cultivating a willingness, right, to just be ourselves, to live a truthful and transparent luminosity type of timeline, right? A luminous, clear, crystal clear, being a crystal clear channel of truth, transparency, luminosity, and authenticity in a unity consciousnness. This is the frequency of human consciousness. This is the humanity that we've been waiting for. And now is the time that now is the time that we've all collectively agreed to bring in this golden age of planetary prosperity. So this is a free gift, and I'll let you talk about it more, but I want to just share it with you because I got excited just reading about your free gift offering here, because this is a service that we all need, especially ones that are in transition, that might have lost their old form of income in the pandemic timeline, who may be still adjusting to working from home, or who may not want to go back to the old job that they outgrew. That has actually become a disservice instead of a service on the planet. So this class addresses this cleansing, right, that's happening on planet Earth, the dimensions, the multi-layered dimensional consciousness, and the illusion and confusion of lack consciousness. Because we know that although we see the outer manifestation in our external reality of maybe not having enough funds to do what we really love to do, what brings us the greatest joy, that we know that it all starts from inside and it goes outward. It's an inner manifestation that as alchemists that we can transmute, we can shift just with our own willingness to do so. And so this is about clearing the lower frequencies, the lower dense energies and entities, the false realities, the attachments to maybe playing it safe or pretending to be smaller than others. Maybe that in some way it serves us because it makes us feel safe and the same, but it's not allowing us to grow up in the world, right? It's not allowing us to expand and naturally evolve. And we know that we need to take this creative fuel, this fire, this ascension fire, and we can take this and nourish ourselves and others so that we could spread, radiate the essence of planetary prosperity, abundance, and wealth, the vibration of wealth, which is, there should be enough for all, right? Equality, harmony, unity. So that's what we're moving into. So I think Waxela, what she does is she activates this diamond light of your heart. And she created this masterclass to clear out any types of blocks that might be getting in the way of you realizing and living your dream life, and it's so important. So these are powerful activations in each session so that you can remember and reactivate your true identity, worthiness, of value, because we all have unique gifts to share. Each one of us, there's not one being that's actually left out of this, the energy of inclusivity, right? That's the truth of what's really happening on the planet. And I feel like so many of my own clients, like they want to see me every week, but sometimes they just say, to be honest with you, I want to have sessions with you every week, but sometimes but my priority obviously is, people are stuck in survival mode still. But more and more we see people freeing and liberating themselves from that false perception, that false identity of lack, of poverty consciousness that we maybe grew up around. So I'm going to hand it over to you and please share with everyone listening and watching us more about this gift, this very important gift.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, clearing the lack matrix, activating self-worth and wealth. I really created that out of just a divine download, and also in response to the world and what's needed, particularly in the spiritual community, as you mentioned. So what I've seen is that people's wealth tends to correlate to the self-worth. So your income is rarely going to exceed your self-worth. And so that is intricately connected. Activating self-worth activates wealth naturally, because whatever blocks you've put in the way, or whatever, ideas that you have about, oh, it might not be spiritual to make money off of my spiritual work. That's a false program that you've been given. And many people have downloaded that. And so this is about releasing some of those false programs that we came in with, especially for the spiritual community and the starseeds. We didn't need money where we came from, so we don't even know how to be with it. It's like this strange thing, people act weird about it. So like getting over some of that stuff, it's just energy, and you are so very valuable. So it's helping helping the individual listening. There's a guided meditation, a lecture and a guided meditation, but to release those old programs, to release those blocks to our receiving, so that we can truly realize our divinity, our worthiness, that we are meant to be prosperous and experience the life that we want to have, and so that we can serve with our hearts generously and not be in survival mode. And so part of that too, that I found through doing this work, is that sometimes the reason people are experiencing lack or blocks to self-worth and wealth is because they have attachments, which you can call attachments, you can call them entities, you can call them lower frequencies, whatever you want to call them. They're really not scary. They're just parts of self, because we're all one. They're parts of self that are hanging out at a lower frequency, and they found something in you that they like. And maybe they found something in you that they like. They like light workers because light workers will eventually lead them to the light. And here's the thing I found with some of these lower density attachments: they want to go to the light, but they've forgotten how to get there, and they believe that they're bad so that they can't go. And so part of that is explaining to them, you will not be judged. It is safe to go to the light. You will be embraced, accepted, loved, and escorted to the next phase of your journey. And so I made, and this is additional, I didn't even write this in the write-up, but it's a bonus gift. I made an audio that's on that page where you get to listen with headphones. Lying down is the best. And it clears these lower frequencies, these attachments that you might have, so that you can release them into the light and non-judgment, so that they get to go, and then you get to be free of them. And that helps with your self-worth and activating to a higher level of prosperity too.
Wow. That is so incredible. I mean, so needed, right? So needed on the planet. I just want to share the free gift link, though it will be included with this recording. So it is, I'm going to just spell Waxela's name again. It's www, and then it's Waxela Sananda, SANANDA.com. And I guess it's /ROP, is that right?
That is.
Okay. And this is, so, and your website, wa-shay-la-sananda.com.
Yeah.
Oh, and I see that you also have another really cool project that you're working on, which is a new membership site designed for ascension, attunement, alignment, and community connection. And that's wa-shay-la-sananda.com//membership. Do you want to just tell people how they can take advantage of that service that you're offering.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, this is my new baby is my membership platform. Anybody that's made one knows that a lot of work goes in, but what I love about it is it has a forum built in. So the members can interact with me and each other right there as if they're like a Facebook type forum, but it's not Facebook, and it's bank encrypted. So it's, you know, it's very high level security. So people that aren't comfortable on some of the social media platforms can feel very comfortable there. And so I'm doing live calls in there. I'm doing like community gatherings, and it's just really you know, growing up, as I said, I didn't have that spiritual community, sacred community. I had the church, but I didn't see things the same way. So I longed for that. I craved spiritual community. And so this is a place where we can get together and have that sacred space. There are breathwork courses that you get automatically when you get in, and meditations and live videos, and then or downloaded videos. And then you get live videos twice a month, and then interaction with each other and me. So it's really fun. And the founders membership, the first 100 members get a much lower price than it will be after that. So I encourage anyone to jump on in and get in the membership.
Deep dive into the pool of prosperity.
Exactly.
I just wanted to share my website for those who don't know me, who I might be a new person that they've never seen before. Though I've been around for lots of lifetimes, so I think a lot of you do know me, but just in case, it's vandanalifehealing.com. So if you want to check me out and learn more about my services, classes, and accelerated life healing offerings, ascension programs. So we do share a lot of commonality here in our soul purpose, our sisterhood on the planet. So it's just like ice cream. Ice cream is really yummy, but it comes in all these varieties and flavors. So, you know, you may like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, or a mix of different flavors. So, you know, energy healing is whatever deeply and vibrationally resonates with you and your nervous system. Whatever feels good, feels joyful, and really cracks open your heart, but in a very gentle way that feels safe and nurturing. Go with that. And these people like us can be your guides, but really you are your own healer, right? You're the one that's doing all the healing work. We can lead you to that well of light, but then you want to go ahead and drink that chalice, that Christed chalice of divinity and eternity and immortality, you know, because you're really the one in charge of you, and you're the creatrix, you're the priestess, you're the goddess of your own destiny. You're your own inner twin flame. So you have it all already inside of you. All the prosperity, the abundance, the wealth, the love, the light, the passion, and the purpose for you to just come on board and like really stand up and really rejoin the human race, but in a very authentic way. Just be yourself and just, you know, join us in our mission to make this planet, to help this planet to live, thrive, and not just survive, to sustain, to become a sustainable planet, a natural, you know, holistic planet. And we need your energy, your contribution, your gifts now more than ever. So I just want to say thank you once again, wa-shay-la. It's just been such an honor to have you on the show again. Say your website again so people won't forget how to find you if they want to look you up real fast now.
Thank you, Vandana. It's wa-shay-la-sananda.com, W-A-X-E-L-A. The X is like an S-H, I would say. So wa-shay-la-sananda.com.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. It's so much fun to talk to you, hang out with you, play with you, and you always hold such a beautiful space and energy. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you too, sister. So thank you again for being on our show, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a beautiful day, and namaste until next time. Bye-bye for now.